Sox.
Climb into your heart on twisted.
Cowboys swings, makes one throw, deep left center field. Mullins looks up, and it's out of here.
Good morning, Mets family. Happy Friday. Today is April 18th, 2025, and last night the New York Mets took on the St. Louis Cardinals, and we're going to get the reactions and your recap. But first, ya tu sabe, let's get to the highlights. Griffin Canning scratched from his last start due to an illness, but he's making this start, and he's looking to get to work. Top two, Jordan Walker. He's going to hit that one to foul territory, a little bit late on the swing there, but Polar Bear Pete with the sliding grab, making plays on defense and hitting it on offense. Bottom of the inning, Mark Vientos, say word. A solo shot goes doink off the foul pole in right field. Mark Vientos has been putting good wood to ball, but it hasn't been dropping. But this one, of the not coming back variety, as Mark Vientos gets his first home run of the season, putting the Mets up 1-0. Looks like the bats from the bottom of the order are waking up. Next batter, Starling Marte is going to take that one to the corner. Lars Nootbaar is going to pick it up, and that'll be a stand-up double for Starling Marte as he keeps the party moving with 1 out. 2 outs in the inning. Brett Beatty is going to send that one to left field, and Nootbaar's not going to be able to make the play. That'll score the run to make it a 2-0 game for Brett Beatty. And it's finally getting that back going. 2 hits last game, 2 hits this game. At the bottom of the order starts waking up. Be careful, because this lineup could get very dangerous. Next batter, Tyrone Taylor, goes right back up the middle, and that'll put 2 ducks on the pond for Francisco Lindor, who is hitting over 1,000 OPS at home. So you know Lindor is looking to keep adding on runs. Blow! He's going to send that one into right field, and that'll score 1 run. And then Tyrone Taylor is looking to come around the corner, and Lindor gets caught in a rundown, and he tells Tyrone Taylor to go home, and he will score 4-run inning for the Mets as Francisco Lindor will get tagged out, and they are in business. Picking it up, top 9, 1 out, 1 on, and Jordan Walker will strike out. And Edwin Diaz will put on the final touches as the batter will ground out the first. Mets win the ball game 4-1. Tonight, David Peterson is going to take the bump for the New York Mets, and he will be opposing Mike Mikolas of the St. Louis Cardinals, who right now hasn't had the best of luck so far this season. But again, it's the St. Louis Cardinals, and they have an offense that is at the top of the league at scoring runs and with the batting average. But last night the Mets took care of business, and they held that offense to just 3 hits. And that's a good thing. Whenever your pitching can top good hitting, you know, it's one of those old adages where good pitching could always beat good hitting. But the Mets offense last night has some positives and a little more of the same. Let's start with the usual suspects. And last night, they weren't suspect. They were actually terrific. Let's start off with Mark Vientos. Mark Vientos hit his first home run of the season. Was a doink off of the foul pole in right field. And then Brett Beatty had 2 more hits. He had 2 in the final game of the Twin Series, and he started this series against the Cardinals with 2 more hits. And now both second base options are actually hitting now. And the Mets need all the hitting they can get. So it's going to be very difficult to pull those guys off. But there's ways to supplement that, right? You could take Mark Vientos out of third base for a while, and just to keep the bat of Brett Beatty and Luis Angel Acuna in the lineup at the same time. Now, I don't know if they want to do that a lot more than not. But, and, we don't want to take Mark Vientos off of third base and then just, mentally, put him in a bad spot. But good signs from Vientos and Beatty, who are just doing the damn thing, right? And you got to give them all the credit in the world. They didn't tuck their tail between their legs. They stood out there every time they went up there, hitting, chugging along. So big, huge shout out to both Beatty and Vientos. Now let's talk about the captain, in my opinion. Francisco Lindor, 3 more hits. Yesterday, I think it was like the first 3 at-bats. He got on base with the hit. He drove in a run, and you saw how that run was manufactured. And those are the tendencies. Those are the intangibles that a captain possesses when, he can make that play like a point guard. Yesterday, he was like a point guard on the NBA court where he was, telling Tyrone Taylor to score. And then after the game, he gave Tyrone Taylor all the credit for, picking him up when he was, telling him to go ahead and go home and score. So tons of credit to Francisco Lindor, kind of just leading by example a little bit, showing, Juan Soto, like, hey, take your time. It's going to come. And then when you're firing on all cylinders, they're going to love you, right? Right now, they just, you're the shiny new toy. And right now, all the criticism is going to be on you if you don't perform. Yesterday, hit into another double play, and it's starting to creep into his head. You saw it a little bit when I think he hit another ground ball, and, it was an out. It was a hard hit that Nolan Arenado made a good play. And those are the ones right there that stick with you. Those hurt a little bit more than, the double plays. Well, not more than the double plays, but those hurt a little bit more, because you hit it right where you're supposed to do. You did everything you were supposed to do as a batter, and, the defensive player was there at the right spot at the right time, and Nolan Arenado made a fantastic play there on that hit to the opposite field, which is where, if Soto is going to, thrive at Citi Field, and he, coming into this season, had fantastic numbers in Citi Field. If he's going to thrive in this position, he's going to have to go the other way, right? He's going to have to, tailor his swing to just, go the other way if they're going to pitch him that way, right? Because they're not going to want to throw him anything inside, because he's going to turn on it. It's going to be easy out of the park. But he is a professional hitter, one of the best in baseball, if not the best in baseball, in my opinion. And we're going to see that. It's going to show. And then Brandon Nimmo is the other factor here where, again, it's the at-bats aren't bad. It's, yes, the result. It's a result-based league. It's a game of failure. And when you fail more than you succeed and the results are outs, it doesn't reflect well on batting average. It doesn't reflect well on your individual numbers. It just doesn't reflect well at all. And then people pick you apart. And that's where Brandon Nimmo is right now. So it's picking up where he left off last year, where it's, hitting it right at someone. A lot more last year, he was striking out swinging towards the end of last year. That's what I observed from Brandon Nimmo in the second half of last season. But this year, he's being aggressive, sometimes overly aggressive. And, when it doesn't work, it results in outs. And that's what you see, right? But I will always stick to what I was talking about earlier in the week with Brandon Nimmo. And if he just continues to put bat on ball, something's good is going to happen. Plain and simple, right? Again, he's not looking bad. He's not taking bad looking ugly swings. So give him all that credit, man. He's going to come through. You just got to be patient with baseball. That's just how it is sometimes, right? This time last year, Aaron Judge wasn't hitting the best, and then all of a sudden he turned it on, and then he became an unbeatable beast until October. So these are just things that happens. Pete Alonso had a rare 0 for, but again, put good wood on the ball, and it just didn't drop. So got to tip your cap. The Cardinals, got the outs when they needed to get them, but the Mets did enough, more than enough. Hat tip to Griffin Canning, who was ill, so he couldn't make the last start in Minnesota. And he made the opening start here in this series, and 6 innings, 8 Ks, only allowing 3 hits and 1 earned run. And that is what you need, what you'll want out of your starting pitcher. So tons of credit to Griffin Canning in that respect. And tonight we have David Peterson, and I just look for David Peterson to continue to be successful on the mound and continue to just pitch his way that's effective to him. The bullpen did fantastic again, right? So there's a strength to this team that right now they're going to have to lean on until the offense just is showing itself to be at its full potential. And it's not there right now, but the other aspects are just taking over, right? And you just hope that things get better, but they will. Because I'll tell you this, right now, Drew Gilbert is having a fantastic start to his season. And he had some rehab that went great, phenomenal, is in Syracuse, and is picking up where he left off in Florida. That's a good sign, great sign. Jet Williams also getting a few hits. So the farm is looking good. And when you look at what's going on in the center field, you have to really take that under consideration. Now, Jeff McNeil also, being a team player, being someone who's accepting something that at this point, at this stage of people's careers, they usually just are not very receptive to. But Jeff McNeil is a professional, and he went out there, played some center field, made a nice sliding catch, and that's good. I don't think that's going to mean that he's going to be the everyday center fielder, but it's an option. And it's something that's valuable to this team. And Carlos Mendoza is a very smart guy, and I think he's going to use that to his advantage because you have to. Right? You have to capitalize wherever you can, right? So if that means Brandon Nimmo moves over to center field some days, then so be it, right? If that means that he's going to, Jeff McNeil's going to play center other days, then so be it. But you have to see, again, what you have in Brett Beatty and Luis Angel Acuna. You can't just start, stop, and not care, right? Because one, doesn't send a good message, and you're not giving people a chance to, go ahead and do their thing. And they're turning the stones right now. So give them time, and I think they deserve the time. I think they earned the time, right? From the struggles to now having some success, they've earned the time. They've earned the playing time. So I think they should get that. Francisco Alvarez, they're saying that he's going to be coming back very soon. It could be at some point in this series or in the next one when the Mets take on the Phillies. So we'll see where all that leads to. But tonight we have Mets Cardinals on the Mets Life YouTube channel. So make sure you pop in, leave comments, say what's up, talk to your boy. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great experience. We're going to get to talk about the game, get to talk more about what's going on in the topics and our surrounding baseball and the New York Mets. So tune in, lock in. You already know the vibes, baby. Let's go Mets. Now, before I get up out of here, I'm going to say that it is with very heavy heart that we're going to have to change the name of the program. It's been Good Morning Mets for the better half of a year, and it just, the timing and the time frame, it just doesn't fall in line with a morning episode. So I want it to be more where we don't have to focus on putting it out at a certain time. So what we're gonna do is we're going to change the name, and that name will be revealed, and it will be debuting on Monday. So we'll see that on Monday morning or Monday afternoon, whichever time it is. But according to the statistics, the upload times are usually around 11:30, 12 o'clock. So we're going to be transitioning away from Good Morning Mets, and we'll come in on Monday with a brand new name, something that you will all love, something that represents the New York Mets and New York City. So I hope you guys join me Monday. Something new, but it's going to be something fun. When it comes to the Mets, it's always for life.